If you bought the Survivor board game, you might not even know this, but there is an Easter egg riddle hidden inside, and I have not seen a single video online explaining the riddle until now. So hang around if you want to see the explanation, or if you just want to see a really cool Easter egg for Survivor. Okay, so like any normal person, I was reading the rules and I came across this little note at the bottom. I have a big hand pointing at a number and a little hand pointing at a number. Add their values, 1 equals A and 27 equals A. I was like, oh, that's very interesting. Survivor is definitely doing a riddle in their board game. So it has something to do with the clock because big hand and little hand, and then also something to do with the alphabet because 1 equals A and 27 equals A, which means each letter of the alphabet corresponds to a number 1 through 26, and then it restarts. Okay, so my first thought was like, I remember seeing a clock on the front right there. There's a small hand and there is a big hand. Small hand is at 12, big hand is at 15. You add them up, that equals 27. That means A. I'm like, what do you do with A? So it definitely seemed like a dead end because what are you going to do with one letter? Okay, so the clock is not going to work. I go back to the hint, like, what am I missing here? Then I realize the symbol right next to the hint, and that looks very familiar because that is also the symbol that goes around the whole outside of the box. So if you take a look at that symbol, it also matches the first symbol, but I got to turn it to the side so it's a perfect match, as you can see now. So my next thought was maybe each of these are going to represent a letter, and then that will form a sentence once you solve all 26 of them. All right, for example, let's try to solve this first one. Let's treat this like a clock. The small hand is pointing to the right at 3. The big hand is also pointing to the right at 15. You add those two together, that's 18. The 18th letter of the alphabet is R. Let's go to the second one. The small hand is once again pointing to the right at 3. The big hand is pointing down at 30, which is 33. The 33rd letter in the alphabet, if A were to equal 27 and keep going to the right, would be G. Now, immediately I'm thinking RG is not going to form any single word, so something is still not right about this. So back to the drawing board, and to be honest, this is where Reddit gave me the solution I was looking for. This is the only place where I found the answer to this riddle. Basically, what you have to do is you have to add these two vertical lines to the total value of the clock to the left of it. So this was 18, but adding 2 to it would make it 20, and therefore that would make this letter T. And basically these colons separate each of the letters. So let's go down and solve the whole thing now. Okay, so after solving each of these symbols, adding their values, and then corresponding it to the right letter, and putting it all together, this is what it comes up with. The X hides a card of great power. So after that, I'm thinking, the X. What am I looking for? Where's the X at? So there's not a lot of places where the X could be hidden in this board game. Like I popped this open, was looking in here. There's nothing here. But then I noticed this card holder spot is a little loose. You can easily pull it out. And voila, there's the X. And a little corner piece that's notched out that you can probably pry open and pry up. So we're going to do that. So I got it pried up, and you can pull this out, and underneath it is the idle nullifier. Arguably one of the most powerful advantages in the game of Survivor and in this board game. How freaking cool is that? Survivor, please cast me already. I need to be on your show.